Hey guys, Stay Patient here with my full trophy guide for the Little Acre, another one of 2016's super easy and quick PS4 Platinums. It's currently £10, $13 and €13, but has been on offer recently, so will most likely be again during one of the next digital sales. Despite the trophy guide on PlayStationTrophies.org stating that it requires 2 playthroughs, if you do everything correctly you can finish it in just 1 playthrough and with a time of less than 1 hour. There is a speedrun trophy that involves completing it in less than an hour, so we're going to explain some things before we start, to ensure you're prepared to earn all the miscellaneous trophies while also getting through the game in a quick enough time. First and foremost, the invisible timer that tracks your completion time does stop when you pause the game. In this playthrough that I did on a blank account, which actually ended up being faster than the current record, the trophies were earned within 52 minutes and the whole game took around 55, meaning there isn't a lot of time left over if you do everything in 1 playthrough. So make sure to pause the game while you're checking what to do next, because as I explained, that will also pause the timer. There's a few trophies that involve getting something right on your first attempt. You can manually save, but there's only 1 save slot and the autosave does overwrite your manual save. So if I tell you to make a save in case you fail a missable trophy, make sure you reload the save straight away if you do fail. If you keep playing and succeed on your second attempt, then an autosave will be made and you'll lose the manual save, blocking you from trying the trophy again during that playthrough. Don't worry yourself though, most of those trophies are extremely easy. There are a couple of trophies for completing the game without using any hints or solutions, but also 1 trophy for using a solution, so we'll be using the save and reload trick for that one too. You can do it at any time and I'll be showing you how to during the playthrough. To save and load though, you need to press triangle to open your inventory menu, press right to go across to the tab so you can scroll down from inventory to settings, then move back to the left again to actually get to the settings menu itself. You may find it easier briefly jumping into the game and familiarising yourself with the menu system, so you know where everything is and it won't slow you down. If you do decide to do that, just start a new game once you're done and follow the guide from there. There's one last thing worth mentioning regarding the menu system. When you pick up an item, it will automatically open your inventory, so unless you want to use something from your inventory straight away, you should be ready to close it down instantly to avoid losing time. You can't skip any of the main dialogue or cutscenes, so enjoy the adorable story and characters. Each item in the world is triggered by a different button, and the prompt will show up when you're nearby, so if you do click on something optional by mistake, then you can skip that dialogue as it's not part of the story. Okay, I've bored you for long enough, let's earn you guys another 1 hour platinum. Okay, so we're going to start off the footage from the main menu here. And we're going to start a new game. You don't need to change anything in the options or the settings menu. And there are going to be some sort of cutscenes here. We're going to start off with one at the beginning of the game. None of them are very long, but I'm going to leave them in just to show you, the entire playthrough. Some of you may enjoy watching this just for the sake of seeing the game, because we're not going to be skipping anything, so you're going to be able to experience all of the dialogue and story and everything. Now I do recommend, pausing the game before each section so that you can watch a section of the game, learn what's required, and then be able to replicate it in a nice quick fashion. You do need to be pretty rapid with this to be able to earn the speedrun trophy, considering the fact that we're earning all the other trophies on the way through as well, of course. It's a nice game to play, it's a lot of fun, and the animation is really top notch, I think. It reminds me a lot of, many of the old school Disney movies, really. But we're going to start off in a bedroom here. We're going to be playing as Aiden, who is Lily's dad. They're the 2 characters, and we're going to be switching between them. But here, we need to get dressed nice and quickly. Well, not quickly, but we need to get dressed, sorry, without making any noise. And the floorboards are creaky, so we need to click on the shirt to begin with, and that's a nice easy one. Then we need to take the stick out of the dog's mouth, which will only work when he's got it open. Then we can bring up our inventory and equip the stick and use it on the trousers so we can reach them. And then I believe we're going to use the sandwich that we've just found from the trousers pocket on the dog. And you'll see we're moving pretty quick, so you may need to go back and watch this a couple of times. But once we've used the sandwich on the dog, he's going to have a bad, case of bad breath there. We need to equip the stick and use it on the dog to get him to roll over. And that's going to push Lily off of our sweater. Now to grab that sweater we need to equip the sandwich again, or the rest of the sandwich, and throw it onto the sweater itself. And Dougal, our dog here, is going to grab it. And again we need to grab the stick, and when he opens his mouth, use the stick on the sweater. And that's the last piece of clothing except for the shoes, which are right next to our bed. We don't need to do anything special to grab them. Just pick them up and we're all ready and dressed. So once the dog makes his way down the ladder there, we can follow him. So just move your cursor over the ladder, click on it, and we'll head downstairs. Now when we're down here, you'll notice that items start showing up with button prompts if we want to interact with them. And the first thing we need to grab is actually right behind our body on the table there. So you'll see the button prompt but can't actually see the item. It's a jug, it's an empty jug. So press X or whichever button it happens to be for you. And then we want to move towards the screen. And remember, close your inventory every time you grab something. We're going to grab this stool here. So you'll notice each time I pick something up, it opens the inventory, and we need to close it down nice and quick so as not to waste time. And once you've got those two items, we can head out the door into the garden on the right. Now we're going to make our way down the pathway here. And once we're at this water pump, we need to use the water jug or the empty jug on the pump. And then use the pump again, and we're going to attempt to fill that jug up with water, but the handle's going to snap off. So we're going to take that handle, it's going to automatically give it to us, and we need to make our way towards the shed. Now when we're at the shed, we can equip the handle, and we're going to use it on the door to be able to pry it open. And as soon as it's open, we want to head inside. Now the only thing we're doing in this shed on this occasion is picking up the pitchfork off the floor. So just near the entrance there, if you walk in a little bit, you'll notice the pitchfork is quite dark, but a prompt will show up. And once we've got it, we can head back outside again. Now we're going to walk back to the water pump and equip the pitchfork, and then we want to use it on the stump next to the pump. And we can't put this in our inventory, this is like a big hammer, but we can use it on the water pump, and that's going to turn it on and fill up the jug with water. So we can pick up the jug again and head back inside the house. Once we're inside, we're going to head out the other door to the front of the house. It's a really nice little abode here. Nice place to live. I think it's set in Scotland possibly. But we can head out this door to the front, and we want to make our way down the pathway, and we're going to be opening up the post box. Now we want to just keep clicking on all these letters, go through them nice and quickly until we get to the box. And when we click on the box, it's going to read this whole letter through. So yeah, we basically need to wait for the voiceover. I think it's Nina voicing this. She's a character that we're going to meet later on. But she's going to read the whole thing through, but be ready, obviously it's going to finish, and it won't close the letter when it does finish. It will give you control of your cursor back though. So be ready to click on the box again, because we're going to be taking the crystal that's in there, that sort of turquoise blue object. We're going to be taking that out of the box and using it in a moment.
However, it's more likely they'll see nothing other than the potential for profit. For now, I'll do my best to impede their research. Stay safe, my friend, Nina.
There we go. So once we've got control back, grab the crystal, and we can then make our way back inside the house. Once inside, you want to head through the door that's right next to the ladder. It's a downstairs bedroom, and this is the bedroom of our father and of Lily's grandfather. He's the guy that we're trying to find during this game. Now when inside, we're going to pick up the mask off the bed, which is the red and white object. You can see it's got a face on it, it's pretty obvious. There's only a mask and Teddy there that you can interact with. So grab the mask, and then we're going to interact with the generator, which is the machine behind us. I don't think it's called a generator in the game. It's called, it didn't actually show up, but it is a generator. We're going to interact with that, and we're going to put the crystal, we need to bring up our inventory once we've got control back here. So equip the crystal and pop that into the slot just there in the center. Now you need to back out of this screen, and we are going to use the jug of water on the funnel. And then we need to turn these dials, and the ohm switch needs to be on 4 and the weight switch on 3. Now you want to input 2 different codes, and you have to do them in this order because the first code is for a trophy. So put in the code that I'm showing you now, and that will pop a trophy. And then to continue with the story, pop in the next code. So pause the video here if you need to, or watch it in slow motion, or whatever helps you. But once we've done that, that's going to turn on the generator, which is going to power this item, this device outside. And that's going to power up the shed, which will allow us to turn the light on. So we're going to head for the shed now. The first time you go there, if you're playing the game, without trying to do a speed run, you'll notice that you try and turn the light on and it doesn't work and everything. We're trying to skip out any unnecessary steps, so we didn't notice that on our first visit. But we're going to head out to the shed again. You should know the way by now. It's quite a small game. There's not a large area to play around with. But once we're inside, we can turn on the light straight away. The switch is just next to the door. So you want to press X or whatever the button is for you. That will light up the room. Now when we're back in control, you want to head all the way to the right-hand side. And we are going to try and grab the item that's on top of this bookshelf. But the bottom shelf that we try and stand on breaks, and so we're going to use the stool that we picked up earlier on the broken shelf. And ironically, this stool is going to break as well, but thankfully the item's going to fall off. So we want to make sure to pick up the item before we leave. And once we've got it, we do need to head back into the house again. Now there's a trophy related to this device. Basically, we're going to show it to Lily, and she's going to do a dance, and the shapes that she makes during her dance will indicate the order in which we need to press the buttons on this device. Now the trophy is for getting it right the first time. So what you want to do here, once we've made our way back into the house, we're going to do one more step before making a save. So the next step is to equip the mask and use it on Dougal the dog. So once we're by Dougal, we can use the mask, and we're going to use it on Dougal. Now that's going to wake up Lily. Now at this point you want to make a save, so I'm going to show you here. Once we've got control back, you need to press the triangle button, then scroll to the right all the way down to settings, and then to the left, and save game. Now here we're going to equip the puzzle box, and use it on Lily, and you'll see she does a dance. Now every playthrough I've done, and this is my third playthrough, the order has been exactly the same. Some people say that it changes order, but I don't think it does. So if you just put in the same order that I do, hopefully it should work. So we're going to do from the top, the second one down, then the first one, then the third one, and then the fourth one. Now if it is different, obviously you'll need to reload your save. If it doesn't open the box here, then you'll need to reload without, putting the code in again and getting it correct. To make sure you reload nice and quick, and you'll be able to retry. But it should be the same order for you. We're going to head outside again now though. And like I say, if it is a different order, you'll need to keep an eye on the dance that Lily does, basically. Now at this point, I'm going to make another save, and this is where we're going to use a hint. So go to your notes section in your menu, use a hint, and then press on it again to use a solution. And then while you're still in the menu, it doesn't matter if you come out of the menu and go back in, but just don't continue with the game. Make sure to reload your save after using the hint and solution. Now that's the trophy you can earn at any time during the game, but just make sure at some point you save it, you go back into your menu, you go to notes, use a hint, use the solution, and then quickly reload your save, and you'll be able to get all those trophies in one playthrough. Now, once we're outside, once we're in the shed, we're going to use the key that we picked up on the keyhole in the back of this device here. This sort of tube or portal or whatever. So now we're going to be in control of Lily for the first time. The first section playing as Lily is slightly different in that we can't move around. We're just going to be clicking on things. So to start with, we want to click on the prep table behind us. And then once it kind of zooms in or gives us control of the cursor back, we need to click on the bag of oats. And we'll notice that it's empty. Now we're going to actually make another save here. I can't remember if I did so in the footage. I think I did. But basically, you'll notice just up near the top of the ladder there is a bag of oats, and we need to get that, and we need to grab it on our first attempt. But the dog's going to try and stop us, so make a save, and then you want to click on Dougal, then click on the door to sort of distract him, and then quickly, as soon as you've got your cursor back, quickly move up to the bag that we just clicked on there, and you'll know it worked if the dog doesn't quite get to you in time. He still sort of grabs you and saves you from falling flat on your face, but the trophy popped. You saw it there. It's Silly Doggy or something. Now from here, we are going to click on the pot next to the fire. And then we want to use Dougal with the cupboard on the left. Now I will just mention that Silly Doggy trophy, I think that might be one of the trophies that you can't reload a save for because, I think it would make an autosave if you did fail. I'm not really sure, but try and get it right on the first try just in case. But there we go, we're going to use Dougal on this cupboard. He's going to bite the piece of string off that's blocking us from getting in. And this is actually a really funny scene because the dog's basically making sure everything goes to plan, working really hard. We can click on the table here, by the way, the prep table, and she's going to go ahead and make her porridge. But this reminds me of a lot of Disney movie scenes where she thinks she's doing really well, everything's going wrong in the background and she's not noticing it, but he comes to the rescue over and over again, and she's completely oblivious. It's a very funny game, really. Wait till Dad hears I did this all by myself.
Hang on.
Dog's rolling his eyes. Okay, so we're going to switch back to Aiden now. Now I think you need to press the X button to get up. It's not going to let you straight away, but after a couple of seconds it will. Now there's another trophy here we're going to make a save for. And this one you definitely can reload and earn it, if you do fail the first time. So when we've got control back, we're going to walk up the steps just in front of us. We're going to interact with this table, and we're going to be grabbing the hat on the left that's sort of covering that blue ball. And then we're going to be grabbing the orb underneath it. So you want to grab both items. And this orb is basically used to open the door. Now what we need to do with it is put it into 2 slots, one after the other, very quickly. And we're actually going to be making use of the fact that when you pick up an item, it opens your inventory automatically, because that's going to help us get this step done quicker. So the 2 slots are on the far left here. You'll notice these 2. If we equip, we're going to make a save first. Sorry, I almost forgot that. If we equip the orb, we're going to plonk it into the left-hand slot. Then as soon as the button prompt appears to take it back again, you want to grab it and it will open your inventory, so don't press triangle, just click on the orb again and quickly put it into this second slot. And if you do it quick enough, it's going to open that door. If you don't, then just be sure to reload your save before carrying on with the game and, get it done in time the second time. Now when you do reload your save, the orb will actually be in the second slot, so you might think to yourself, oh crumbs, I've missed the chance, maybe it has auto-saved. But when I did it, one of the other playthroughs I did, that same thing happened. The orb was in the second slot, but I was still able to take it out of the slot, do the steps again, and earn the trophy, so don't worry too much. You know, if it looks as though an autosave has been made, I don't think it has. Anyway, we're back to Lily now, and we're going to be walking to the right-hand side and interacting with this spanner that's sticking out of the tractor's engine, and then you want to interact with the engine again. Now once we've got that item, the rope, we are going to interact with the hole on the left, and you can always tell when something's interactable with this kind of visual style, because those rocks will move, and just like with the Disney movies, you know, anything that moves is always much less detailed, always stands out, you know, against the background. Now we need to head to the right, just past the dog, and we're going to use the rope. I equipped the wrong thing there. Use the rope on the tree branch. And now we're going to interact with the slingshot, which is the rope here. But we're not going to be strong enough to pull ourselves back. So we need to use the bone that we just picked up. Use that on Dougal, the dog there. And that's going to pop it in our pocket. And he's going to send us flying. You may have seen this scene during some of the trailers and things like that. But there's a little bit of a cutscene here. So just let this play out, and eventually we'll find ourselves in front of the house again. And the idea is that we're going to be picking up a sword at some point during this scene, and we're going to use the sword on the gnome that we passed earlier on.
He's probably gone to town for that exact reason. So until then, we've got to do our best to help out. Hey, Breeze! You didn't pay for that! Good thing Wings can't ride bikes.
Okay, so when we find ourselves down here, just wait until we've got control back. And you want to equip your sword. I think it will bring up your inventory anyway because you've just found the sword, and I may have accidentally closed it down and opened it again. Yeah, there we go. Closed it and opened it real quick because I realised the mistake I'd made. Anyway, we just need to use it on the gnome. And then her sort of vivid imagination is going to allow her to continue looking, because he was like the guy that was guarding her from leaving or entering or whatever. So we can make our way back inside the house now. And from here, we're going to switch to Aiden just for a short scene. So we're going to be using these lamps, these little kind of glowing balls, to get ourselves across some bridges that will appear out of the water. So I'm going to show you which ones to click on. You probably want to pause it here and just memorize the order in which you want to click on these orbs.
I wasn't coming back until I found it.
So if we click on this first one here, it's not difficult at all, but you want to get it done nice and quick to ensure you earn the speedrun trophy. So we're going to keep going, and we need to click on this second one. The idea is we need to get to the blue one to the left. So we click on the second one. Although we could have made it across to the blue one, we need to do it this way so we can get back as well, because once we click on the blue orb, it's going to open the door, but it's also going to shift these bridges around. And if we went across there earlier, then the bridges would have all disappeared and we'd have been stranded. So that's the order. Very, very simple. Basically, the first orb, the second orb, go around to the yellow one, and then through. Anyway, once we're back as Lily, we want to head into the bedroom with the generator. And we're going to pick up the teddy to begin with, and then we have another miscellaneous trophy to earn, but it's not a timed one, it's not something we need to get right on the first try, so you don't need to make a save or anything. We're literally just going to keep pressing on this button here, and it's going to be sending the blind up and down, and we need to open and close this blind 10 times. Now this is one of the trophies. If you follow this guide and you get to the end and you didn't quite earn the speedrun trophy, but you earned everything else in the game, and you're needing to play back through again just for the speedrun trophy, then you might well be following my guide again on the second playthrough. So this is one of the trophies that will save you at least a few seconds, maybe a couple of minutes. I'm not really sure how long it takes, but this is one of the things that you'll want to skip if you are, if you've already got this trophy. There's one or two trophies that take a little bit of time. But we're going to leave the room there once we've done that. And we can head out into the garden. Now most of the optional trophies actually make the game quicker because they involve doing something correct on the first try. But of course, a couple of the trophies involve just, like that one was opening and closing the blind a bunch of times, and there's a similar trophy later on. Anyway, once we've got to the shed, we're going to be making our way to Clonfera, which is where our dad is gone, which is where Aiden is. So we want to grab the paper along the back wall first of all. It's one of the only things you can interact with here as Lily. And then we're going to use the teddy. I equipped the wrong thing there, but finally got it. Use the teddy on this portal device. I'm not really sure what it's called, but she wants to test it basically and see what happens.
He's gone. Of all the souls I have encountered in my travels.
Now she decides that this must be where her dad and her granddad have both gone, and she'd be correct.
This must be where everyone went. What
So
happened? I need
once
to
you've used the teddy on it, you need to equip the paper, and you're going to use it on Dougal. So you're going to be writing a note out for your dad in case he comes back, and then slamming it on your dog's face. And then we can jump into this this portal. Unfortunately, the crystal is just smashed, so there's currently no way back. We're going to be back as Aiden again now, and we've got another similar puzzle. It's not really a puzzle, but to be able to get it done quickly,
Gnarled and twisted bizarre trees,
we're going to need to kind of,
creatures filling the
get these orbs in the right order.
long way from home.
So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the first one here and follow the little stepping stones all the way across, and then you want to ignore the next one you come to, so leave this second one and keep going round in a sort of clockwise fashion. Then click on this third one and jump across to this one here. This, I guess it's the fourth one if you're going round in a circle. And then head back to the middle. Now you're going to head back up through the center to the one we missed last time, but trigger it this time and head across to where the door is. Then we can trigger the one next to the door to get across to the blue one. And once again, all this is to make sure that when we press the blue one, we can make our way back across. So back into the center. In fact, we're going all the way across the middle from the blue one. And then we're going to use some of these orbs on the way around the outside to get across to the door that's now open. So that's center one again finally, and we can jump across and head in the door. Now we're going to be switching back to Lily and then Aiden again. These next two sections really don't involve anything, it's just a case of walking forward, so there's not really any instructions here.
Oh my god. I'm adorable. I couldn't wait
I'm
to see what
adorable.
that looked like.
There we go, we can just walk through the door, and then Aiden's going to do a similar thing, just walking forward, and I believe we're going to be walking into a cutscene. So like I say, walk forward with Aiden, and then there's going to be a few moments of a cutscene. So I'm going to use this opportunity to explain the next miscellaneous trophy, which is in the next section when we switch back to Lily. Now she's going to be at one of those locations with the orbs and the bridges and everything, and she's going to make her way across the first bridge, but then she's going to be sort of attacked by a sea monster or a monster lurking in the swamp. Now the idea is you need to equip your sword and use it on his tongue that's sort of got hold of you within 5 seconds, so you need to do it nice and quick. Now you'll see when I do it, I probably take 1 or 2 seconds, so you get plenty of time, but you do need to know that it's coming, because when you're grabbed by the monster, you'll lose control of Lily for a second or two, and then you need to be ready. As soon as you see that you've got control back, you need to equip the sword and use it on the tentacle, it's called. Now you can make a save here, but I think if you took longer than 5 seconds to do it, then it would still take you forward to the next section, because you'd still have, used the sword maybe you let 6 seconds pass, you use the sword, and then you're still taken forward to the next bit. So it is going to autosave and overwrite your manual save. So you do want to try and make sure to get this right the first time. You could always upload your save to the PS Cloud, the PS Plus Cloud if you like, if you want to play it safe. But this is plenty easy enough, as long as you know it's coming. Just be ready, equip the sword, scroll down, use it on the tentacle, there you go. It takes like a split second, just make sure it's within 5 seconds and you'll be absolutely fine. But like I say, if you're a bit nervous about that and you don't want to have to do a whole new playthrough just to get it if you fail, then you could always quit out of the game and, you know, upload your save to the cloud so that you can revert back to it if things go wrong. So now we are back as Aiden, and this cutscene is still sort of going on. This guy cracks me up, his voice is ridiculous, and some of his facial expressions and stuff is really funny. But eventually he's going to make his way into a sort of lab. He's got a generator in there, a bit like the one that we used earlier on at, you know, back home. And so we're going to need to follow him. Now it's not obvious when you've got control back at this point, so what I do is just hold the left analog stick down so that as soon as you do get control back, you start moving and, you know, you can tell when you're able to get moving. Otherwise you could just end up stood there for a couple of seconds, wasting time, not realizing that you're in control again. Now when we're in this room, walk forward a bit and there'll be like just a few seconds of a scene. At least, you know, he'll sort of have a look around. As soon as you're in control again, head to the left, or sort of diagonally up to the left, and there'll be a glove just on this mat or piece of cloth or whatever. You want to grab that glove and then head through the door on the right hand side. And it's a bit difficult to see where you're walking because the wall covers, you know, your view of your character. So you want to kind of try and line yourself up so you're heading for the door, and then just correct yourself. You'll eventually see yourself through the gap of the door, and you'll be able to kind of correct your line to walk through. Now here you want to equip the glove and use it on this blue light, sort of like a circular, almost like a mirror or window or something. And that's going to pop a crystal out, a new crystal, and we're going to automatically pick that up. So be ready to close your inventory again, as always.
The crystal hidden behind the wall looks similar to the one I had seen earlier that day.
So close that up, and then we're going to head back, and we want to use the crystal on the device that he's working on. If we use it on this sort of section here, the circular hole, and then we need to make our way just forward a bit to where that black creature is hiding in that hole, and we're going to be using the hat that we picked up earlier on that very hole. I forget what it's called now, but use the hat on the receptacle, that's it. And then we're going to be heading back to where the glove was a moment ago, and we can pick up a screwdriver. Now we're going to head back through the door, and there's another miscellaneous trophy to earn here. So back through this door on the right, and eventually what we need to do is use the screwdriver on this plan to the top of this slope. So we need to follow this path all the way to the top, but don't use the screwdriver on it yet. First of all, you need to interact with the plant just with your hands, you know, just by pressing circle on it or whatever the button is for you. You need to do that 10 times. Now this is the other trophy. In fact, I forgot to mention there that because this is optional, you could have, I forgot to, but you could have skipped the dialogue during that first interaction with the plant. So you can skip forward through that dialogue. It will only save a few seconds, if that. But we need to do this 10 times, and this is another trophy that can be cut out of your playthrough if you're just going for the speedrun trophy. So this one and the opening and closing of the blind, they take up, I don't know, it's maybe still only probably a minute or so combined, but you know, it's something less to think about. And you'll know the game pretty well if you complete it, you know, using this guide. When you go back in, you'll be able to fly through for the second run through if you need it. Hopefully you won't need it. Anyway, once you've done that, we're going to equip the screwdriver and use this on the flower. And that's going to cause all this water to pour out. And that's going to fill up the water in the pool at the top left there. Now that's also going to create a pattern. So you want to take a look at this pattern on your way down. I mean, I'll be showing you what the pattern is when we input it in the machine, but if you head past the device, and there's almost like a phone booth type structure here, the bit that sticks out with a hole in the center, you want to use that, and we're going to input the code. Now this code is the one that we used to earn a trophy earlier on, and the trophy is for inputting the Clonfera code, which is this, into the original generator. But now we're actually using it for real, you know, we need to use it to continue the story. And Mur here, or Mur, he sort of reveals his true side. And yeah, I think this is all we need to do during this particular scene now. Now we have another couple of, you know, sections without much going on, or at least without many inputs involved. So as Lily, we're going to be spat out by the monster that we thought had eaten us. He actually turns out to be quite helpful in the end. He's almost like a taxi service around the swamp. But we need to make our way up the path. You can ignore any prompts that come up, like that square over the water. You can just ignore anything like that, because they're all optional interactions. Usually it will just sort of respond to it or react to it. There'll be a line of dialogue or something. And it, like I said at the start, if you accidentally click on something like that, then you can skip the dialogue. Now there's going to be a bit of a cutscene with Aiden, so I'm just going to let it play out. I've got the volume of the game on, I think, so I'll let you guys watch this.
No, no, no!
I'll tell you what, the animation in this game is really great. I really like it.
Can I help you?
My name is Nina. I'm a friend of your father's. I've been out here for a while thinking about how to say this in a way that you'd believe me, but then about a minute ago I heard that sound. You've been there, haven't you? To Clonfera.
Yes, and I need to get back there.
You mustn't go back there! It's dangerous! Your father, he was killed! I'm so sorry!
What? Lily! Lily's there, in Clonfera! You have to help me bring her home, please!
Oh my god! Come with me! We need to get to my lab! Hurry!
Okay, so the idea is that Aiden needs to get back to Clonfera, but obviously the generator's broken, the crystal's smashed, but he's trying to get back to rescue Lily. And Lily's still stuck there, so we're going to play a bit as her now.
He's probably not used to his food poking him with a sword. And then I saw you, although you already knew that bit. You're a good listener, like Dougal. Hey, what's your name, by the way? Well, you're like a big bug, so I'm gonna call you Bugsy, okay? So, will you help me find my family?
So once we're in control again, we need to click on the vine that's hanging down from the top ledge there. So move across to the right until the prompt appears, and then click on it. We're not going to be able to climb up it, but we are going to need it later on, so that'll automatically get added to your inventory. So be ready to close that down. Now we need to interact with Bugsy here, our new friend, and use him on the ledge above us. So this is a new command that we're going to be able to do a few times. You click on Bugsy and then use him on something in the environment. Now we need to jump into this flower, and sometimes it's a bit sort of fiddly getting the button prompt to appear. But just move around a bit and you'll be able to jump in. And it's not really going to help you because you're going to end up down on the bottom level again. But it is going to cause our sword to go missing. Bugsy's going to use that kind of gate to grab the sword and throw it to us. And that's going to inform us that we can make our way through it. So just go up to the gate, press the button that appears next to the gate, not next to Bugsy, but next to the gate itself. And then we need to head across, and there'll be a bit of a scene here.
Oh, look at that thing. It's like a bat squirrel.
This kind of reminds me of Lilo and Stitch. You know, the Disney movie? Both the characters, that black creature and the little girl. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the whole movie, but anyway, we're going to follow the creature up to the top here. And there's 3 flowers. We need to figure out which flower he's gone into. But to do so, we're going to head to the right-hand side, and you'll see a small object just on the floor there. It's probably easier to see when you're playing the game yourself, because you'll probably have a bigger screen. But once you've grabbed that, we're going to take it back to Bugsy and give it to him so we can smell it and pick up the scent and try and figure out where that creature's gone. So equip the Birrel Fur, I think it's called, give it to Bugsy, and then follow him back up to the flowers. His face there just cracked me up. So once we're back up here, he'll be crouched next to the middle one. I don't think it ever changes. So whichever one he's looking at, you can just jump in. Just click the button that appears on it. Now we're going to be back to Aiden again. Back in sort of the real world. Back to normal size again.
Wait, why can't we just use that with my father's machine?
Because we don't want to blow up the whole countryside. I'll explain when we get to
Nina very much reminds me of someone as well. I think it's the girl character from the Goofy movie. I don't know if you guys remember that. It's quite an old one now, probably 20 years ago by this point.
I'll go on ahead and get started.
But she was an animal, I think. I think they might have all been animals in that movie, but she looked very similar. Anyway, once we've got control back, you want to click on the walkway. There will be a button prompt. So click on that kind of pathway along the side of the dam, and then click on the ladder. And he'll actually walk quicker if you click on the ladder rather than walking towards it. Now we need to equip the mask and use it on the cat. That's going to scare the cat, and he's going to knock the plant pot over. Then we want to pick up the key that fell out of the plant pot. So there'll be the button prompt just at our feet there. And then we're going to equip the key, or maybe walk towards this padlock first. There's a padlock on this grate, so you want to open it up, basically use the key on the padlock, and then use the padlock that we now have on the door. Because we're going to be letting the cat into the room with that guy, and he's going to kind of attack the guy. But usually the guy's going to just put the cat out the door. But if we lock the door, then he's going to have to open the window to get rid of the cat. So we padlock the door, we open up the grate, and then we see that cat totally maul that guy. Poor dude. You'd think it was a lion or something, wouldn't you? Anyway, he's going to drop the cat out the window, and now we can climb in through the window. I don't know why we couldn't just crawl through the vent ourselves, but there you go. Now once we're in the window, in this room, you don't want to explore around at all. You want to just climb straight out the window to the left.
I'd made it into the canteen.
The prompt for the window is going to be above the microwave oven. Now we're going to be interacting with the microwave later, so press X there. But just remember for later that if you want to interact with the microwave, you need to get closer to it. Don't accidentally click on the window, because that's going to waste you a lot of time. Now when we're here, there's a bit of a timed section. What we need to do is click on the arrow to the right to Nina's lab, and then the bird is going to sort of squawk and not let us pass, but he's going to drop a feather. You want to grab that feather nice and quick, so as soon as your cursor's back, just move up to the feather and grab hold of it. Now I think I remember to leave my inventory open at this point and actually equip the feather, because obviously it opens automatically. You want to equip the feather and use it on the cat. That saves like a split second here and there if you just leave the inventory open if you do need it. But it doesn't take long. If you do accidentally close it and open it again, it's not really a big deal. But now we can make our way across, so we're going to head towards Nina's lab. Once you're inside, you'll see a door there, up those steps, so you want to climb up the steps and head through the door. And this next section will just be a cutscene. All we'll need to do is, as soon as we have control back, we need to exit the room
I
again,
need your help with something. I'm almost ready to go.
just so you're nice and ready for, you know what's coming up.
The magnetron should do the trick. The easiest one to get is probably from the microwave oven upstairs. I'll finish up here. Let me know when you've got it.
Okay, so we're going to leave the room, and we need to head down the steps again and walk all the way to the right. And there's going to be a lift over here. And there's another very funny scene. The guy that we're supposed to be stealthily creeping past somehow thinks he recognizes us. So it kind of makes you think you've been caught.
Oh, hey, Jerry.
It just cracks me up every time. Okay, so once you're in this room, we're going to head to the microwave. This large oven. I don't think it looks like a microwave, but get nice and close to it and make sure to press the prompt that's actually on the microwave itself and not the one that's above it, because that one, like we mentioned earlier, that one refers to the window itself. Now when we've got that item, we can climb out the window again by using the top prompt. Now you can't make your way back down the elevator, so, you know, don't bother trying that. We do need to climb out the window. Once we're outside, we need to equip the magnetron, which is the item that we've just taken from the microwave, and then use it on the big drop, which is the little kind of flashing cursor point down near the waterfall, or, you know, where the water's coming out through the dam. That's a, you know, missable miscellaneous trophy, so make sure to grab that. That's the only chance you have to do that one. But once we're back again, we can head back into the room with Nina. We need to equip the magnetron again because we haven't actually thrown it into the water. We need to equip it and give it to Nina.
Great, thank you. This'll just take a moment. Alright, I followed your father's design as closely as I could. Put this on. Now this crystal is different.
Eventually he's going to create a new portal, at which point we'll get control back, and to be able to get into the portal we need to walk all the way back around the table towards the screen. We can't actually sort of shimmy past Nina, so you do need to walk around the table in a, I guess, a clockwise direction. So along this way, and then interact with the portal as soon as you're close enough.
Aiden, be careful.
Some of the items you can interact with, you know, if the button shows up while you're a little distance away, when you press the button, they'll actually walk faster towards the item than if you carried on walking and pressed the button when you're closer. I could have mentioned that at the start. It doesn't really, you know, make a big difference, and there's not really many opportunities that you can do it. Obviously, I pointed it out when we were climbing the ladder earlier. We walked a bit quicker to get to the ladder just by, you know, clicking the button rather than waiting till we were close. But anyway, we're back as Lily. We can just walk forward. There's nothing to do here. But this is where it gets a bit darker. Obviously, like a typical Disney movie, there's a lot of laughter and jokes and silliness, and you're just cute sections until something dark and upsetting happens. But there we go, we just found out that our grandfather is in fact dead. So now we're back as Aiden, and we've made our way back into Clonfera. And there's Mur, who's turned out to be quite a bad dude. We need to basically just walk down this pathway, and he's going to think that he's seeing, what's she called, Lily, over and over again. She's going to pop up at several locations down this pathway. We need to just keep walking. That's basically it, and we're very close to the end now, actually.
What are you doing here? Come on, we have to get... Lily? Ah! Ah! Ah!
Arthur will be part of Clonfera forever, and so will you.
Okay, so we'll eventually get control of Lily back and we need to go and rescue Dad. With the help of Bugsy. This creature that's actually only wanting to lay a flower on the grave. Just looks too scary for his own good. Scares Lily off. And we finally get reunited with Bugsy, who's all sad he can't find us. Those facial expressions. Some animators are just so talented. Like very, very simple, you know, no computer generation or anything. Very simple hand-drawn faces and different frames put together, but they can really bring out loads of emotion from these different characters.
Dad! Granddad?
So we're going to have a hallucination of our own here.
What? Mommy? What? No! Why did you make
So at this point, what we're going to do is a bit of a timed section. We need to click on Dad. We don't need to walk towards him. Just press square, whichever button shows on Dad. And then while he's distracting the monster, quickly click on Bugsy and use him on this ledge. So you need to click on your dad, who's going to distract the monster, and then use whichever prompt is above Bugsy's head. And then use him on the ledge, and we'll climb up to the top. Once we're at the top above the monster, we can equip the rope, or the vine, or whatever it's called, and use it on the monster to sort of tie him up. Now, we're going to use our dad again. No, sorry, we're going to use Bugsy, and use Bugsy on the vine. Then we use Dad, and we're going to kind of jump down and land on him. Now we need to interact with the vine again, which is the middle prompt, and use the vine on this turret, I think it's called. And our dad, who hasn't got use of his hands at the moment, sort of crawls along to help us push it off. So you might need to watch that section again, I don't know. Once you're at the top, use the vine on the monster, then use Bugsy on the vine to hold the monster in place, then use Dad to jump down, and then use the vine with the turret. Just to reiterate that section. So this is basically the final section now. We need to walk to the left. We're going to be controlling, I think, Aiden at this point.
looking for you and Granddad?
But we're both going to be walking together.
I know.
These little mini characters remind me of Costume Quest a bit.
Can we go
That's quite a fun game.
Wait. Mer. He stole the glove. We needed to get home.
So we need to go
We
and
can't get stuck in this place.
get the, what's it called, the glove back off Mer. I apologise if you're picking up some background noise. There's a lot of noise going on in the house at the moment.
I go.
But we're going to follow him across the, you know, those stepping stones that he used. But we're going to get separated from Lily. So we're going to finish the game in control of Lily. Aiden's going to run off after Mer. But as Lily, we need to walk nice and quickly up through this door, back into the room with the device, with the generator. So we were here with Aiden earlier. So we need to make our way in, and we're going to try and... No, sorry, first of all, we're going to go to where the water is and use the prompt at the back wall. Now, I think I might have pressed it too quickly there to the point where you didn't actually see it appear. But basically, behind that pool of water is a, you know, where a projector is shining. So there's like a projection of, I think, what's happening here, what we're watching now. So that's what you need to interact with, and that's going to trigger this cutscene.
To protect you and this world from me.
And there are a few more steps to go. Obviously, like I mentioned, you can't skip the cutscenes. And you may notice that the lip syncing during this scene in particular is terrible. There's actually a couple of seconds between some of the audio and some of the mouth movements. So the animation's great, but whoever's in charge of the audio side maybe needs some training.
To do something.
Anyway, once we're back in control, we want to interact with the glove that's stuck in this, like where we put the crystal earlier, basically.
Who is this?
So the button on that round circle there, press that, and we're not going to be able to pull it out straight away, but it is going to trigger this radio conversation with Nina. Now once we finish this conversation, we do need to grab the glove. We need to interact with it again to make sure we do get it, because we need it, obviously.
See them fighting in the back garden through this magic mirror thing. I'm not making this up.
No, I believe you. Look, when the portal closes, the radio will stop working. If that happens, I promise I'll come back to get you somehow. Just stay safe.
Why is he doing this?
Our world sustains his kind better than his own ever could. It's complicated. They left him behind long ago. I suppose he just wants to see them again, even at the cost of hurting other people.
He wants to see them again? Maybe I could give him what he wants.
Lily, don't do anything. Just stay put.
Okay, so we're back in control. We can grab the glove again. And then we need to exit out the door to the south, or, you know, where we came in. I figured it would probably be more enjoyable during that section for you to listen to the game rather than me rambling on, which is why I've been quiet for a few moments. Now from here, when we exit back out, we're going to walk back the way we came. Obviously we can't go across the stepping stones our dad used, so we need to walk to the right, back to where back to where the monster is, and Bugsy's going to turn up as well. Now when we get here, we need to equip the glove. I forgot what I was doing for a second there, but we equip the glove and use it on the gas coming out of the monster's mouth. And that's going to create a portal right in front of him basically, and then we want to interact with the vine. We're not going to be able to reach the vine, but Bugsy to the rescue, as well as this creature, which is for some reason helping us now rather than trying to eat us. So that sends us through the portal, and yeah, I think that's actually the last interaction in the game. In fact, it is. So the game's not finished yet. There is another cutscene. You know, there's no more steps involved, so by this point you have no control over whether you've earned the speedrun trophy or not. And of course, although we did use a hint earlier on, because we reloaded our save, when the game finishes we will earn 2 trophies, one for not using any hints and one for not using any solutions. A solution is sort of the second tier of the hints. You know, you use a hint and it gives you a clue, and then you use the solution and it gives you the actual answer to whatever it is you're trying to do. But although we did use one earlier, because we reloaded, we are going to get those 2 trophies, and we're also going to get the speedrun trophy. So like I mentioned before, if it doesn't pop for you, then just follow the guide again, but leave out those 2 sort of slightly longer winded trophies, the one where you interact with the blind in the bedroom, and the one where you interact with the plant, where you have to click on it 10 times. But there you go guys, that's all the trophies popped. They will unlock in just a moment. I want to say thank you very much for watching. I will of course have plenty more of these guides on the way, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and you know, check out all the rest of my content as well. There's all sorts of trophy based videos on the channel. It's growing quite rapidly at the moment, so I want to say a big thank you to everyone for your support. Thanks once again for watching guys, have a good one, and I'll catch you very soon.